I'll bring this meeting to order. We are still, of course, in COVID set up a little bit, so again, we don't usually have the usual sort of routine, but we're making it work. Let's get this thing started. We've got a long agenda this evening. This is a committee of the whole meeting. Generally, this type of meeting is reserved for discussion and introduction of information, but we typically don't make a lot of formal decisions at this meeting. So it's an attempt to try and make things a little more transparent and a little more open, and again, give the public a little bit of a better chance to see what's going on throughout all of City Hall. So, if I could I get a motion for the approval of the agenda, please?
So moved, Mayor. Second.
Okay. And seconder, all those in favor, say aye. Counter-minded? Okay, carried. We had some minutes from the last committee of the whole. Would someone like to move the approval of those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. Was there any business arising from those minutes? I can't recall. We have a lot of, it's been a while, of course. The last time we met in that regard was, I think, before, was a long time before COVID. So let's get on with it.
March 16th, actually?
Yeah. Just the day before everything sort of shut down here in Newfoundland, right?
Mayor, I'll just make one comment on
Yes.
these minutes. Under the tax receivables for the outstanding balance for 2019, because it says previous year,
Yeah.
we could note that in a question that's going to arise, I guess, when we get to the financial report for this year. And I just reference it because I got the amount noted as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
There you go. Okay, good. Okay, then we have a couple of proclamations, I guess, that I wanted to bring forward here this evening. October 24th, we had an event to mark World Polio Day, and it was with the Rotary Club, and we planted some tulips over on I guess you'd call it the Western Star by Al's Rock, where our new Corner Brook sign is going. And as well, we declared October as Children's Vision Month. So it was it was nice to have a representative from the Newfoundland Labrador Association of Optometrists down as well. Okay, Councillor Carey, you are the lead for public safety. What do you got for us this evening?
A couple of items, Mr. Mayor, specifically, I guess I'll start with the Protective Services stats for the month of September 2020. Our municipal enforcement received 680 calls for services as follows: bylaw enforcement, taxi regulations, animal control, and parking enforcement. I guess in relation to, I'm not going to get into the specific numbers other than they received 80 calls, various categories. Just as an example, bylaw enforcement for untidy property would have been 5. Taxi regulations in terms of permits for taxis would be 8. And then, of course, animal control, roaming animals would be 8. I'm not going to get into the details of the other one, but it would be examples such as that. 174 parking-related violations, though, were issued. That included 141 for expired meters, 3 for parking on sidewalks, and I guess 1 for accessibility parking and handicap. And we just remind the general public that particularly parking on sidewalks and the accessibility for handicap permits, essentially. We really like to focus in on those 2 areas because those areas are restricted for the purpose in which they are intended. The Corner Brook Fire Department received 29 calls for service, 2 residential fire alarms, 7 commercial, 10 actually traffic collisions, 8 of which incurred injury and 2 required extractions. 6 garbage fires, forest fire, possible industrial accident, and 1 water rescue and 1 smoke odor. So the fire department, 29 calls, actually ran the full garment this month from possibilities of various response calls that they may have received. Fire prevention unit conducted 29 commercial re-inspections and 4 new commercial inspections, 1 occupancy, 1 safety walkthrough with the new Corner Brook Hospital site, and 3 home oxygen inspections. And I guess that's becoming more of a, more prevalent as we move into the fire department educationally in terms of a component of the educational programming that we're trying to promote. And more of that educational programming will be seen over the course of the next several months as the division, I guess, look at taking on that particular role a little more heavily than what they have previously. So that's just an area of focus. In terms of the total volume of calls received for the Corner Brook PSAP up to September was 4,736. Of the number of calls, 965 were police, 1,097 were ambulance related, fire were 150, and the others not specific were just 911, poison control, crises, Newfoundland power, hydro outages, things of that nature. And the non-transferred would be 2,510. And I guess the reason that I raise non-transferred is because I'd like, if possible, just get a bit of an explanation as to what does non-transfer 2,510 mean. Because when you look at the total number of calls, and approximately almost 45-50% of them were non-transferred, what does it actually mean?
Mr. Flynn?
Basically, those, Mr. Mayor, are calls that come into the call center that aren't transferred to emergency agencies. They're usually hang-ups or misdirected calls or whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just for the general public so that they know we're not just ending the calls, we are actually still engaged with that particular call. The good news as well, Mr. Mayor, is that the city and the Firefighters Union, Local 1222, have reached an agreement for the next 4 years. The city's previous collective agreement with IFA 1222 expired on December 31st of 2018. At that time, neither party gave the other party notice of intent to negotiate, so we did not commence negotiations until December of 2019. On January 23rd of 2020, both parties began negotiations of a new collective agreement. There was a pause during that time period related to COVID-19, but negotiations resumed again in July. To be specific, July the 16th. Over the course of that 8-day timeline, both individuals, the city with our reps and the firefighters with their representatives, were at the bargaining table. The city and IAFF 1222 reached a tentative agreement on October the 7th, 2020. The membership brought it to a vote on October the 16th with an 88% ratification, which is a high ratification of acceptance. The agreement was reached with both the IAFF and the city, using only internal resources at the bargaining table. This is the first time in recent memory that one or both parties did not require external resources, and is also the first time in recent memory that the use of provincially appointed mediators was not required. And I guess for the taxpayer, what that actually means is that the taxpayer is not on the hook for any internal legal cost or any internal accounting costs, or external, I should say, legal costs or accounting costs through the engagement of a negotiator. And there was significant savings. Previous contracts could run anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000, depending on the length of time that you were bargaining and depending on who you engaged publicly, what law firm, what accounting firms, and what other external resources may have been required. So it's a good win for both the city and the firefighters. It's a 4-year agreement from January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2023. There is a wage increase over that timeline, a 4-year timeline. There were wins with firefighters because the negotiation is just that, it's a negotiation. Some people give a little bit and the other side gives a little bit, and then you come out with an agreement. And basically, Mr. Mayor, it's good to see that the council also ratified the agreement, and we move forward now with harmony and hopefully with improved relationships within the fire department and the staff of the fire department.
Yeah, excellent. Any questions, I guess, on that one?
And not on this one, Mr. Mayor, just to go back though, where we reported about 6 uncovered garbage and stuff like that. I think it's a good time to ask residents to make sure their garbage is covered up. Winter is coming, the crows are going to get hungrier, and we don't want, it's easier in the spring, it's picked up and everything. And one other thing about our 911, if we could have the director tell our residents once more what area our 911 covers. Just to inform-
The Corner Brook PSAP covers from Nain up north as far east as the Holyrood line. I forget what they call that, the Salmoneer line anyway.
Okay.
Goobies, actually.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's been extended since Scoobies.
That's right, too.
Yes,
Salmoneer would be.
The Salmoneer line, actually.
Okay.
It's good to know that.
Geographically, it's a huge area.
Yeah, it's good to know that, because when you read these stats and all of a sudden you're looking at the
Busy in Corner Brook, if you have
the ambulance
4,500
at
calls. yeah.
1,097, are they going to every household in Cornwall now? So at least the residents know that. So, thank you.
Yeah, so any other questions, or, yes, go ahead.
Quick question on untidy property. I guess I would like to know what the process is when somebody reports an untidy property, and what happens when the resident absolutely refuses to clean up the property.
Mr. Flynn?
Well, when we get the report, we send our municipal enforcement officers out to conduct an investigation. They assess the situation there compared to the regulations, and if there's a violation in order, he'll speak to the resident, ask them to clean up the disorder, and if that doesn't work, we'll actually issue a violation notice, and that will give the owner 7 days to deal with the situation. And then if he doesn't deal with the situation, then I bring it back to council and get an order from council to go and clean it up ourselves and bill the homeowner for the cost.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm seeing some people have called and said that their neighbor's property is not cleaned up, and then you go back a week later and it's still not cleaned up, and you go back 2 weeks later and it's still not cleaned up. So I was wondering where the rubber hits the road and when action is actually taken. I know it's a dicey one.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to answer, but it comes down to the discretion of the MEO officer or the municipal enforcement officer to make that assessment. Sometimes it could be toy, garden equipment or what are left out or whatever. And if it's not garbage as such, it's hard to say that it is garbage and you have to dispose of it or whatever. So it's a real balancing act on their part when they go out to make those assessments.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just got one. I'm looking here at the fire prevention unit. But all I've been talking about is fire prevention, and this was never mentioned before. We have a fire department unit, prevention unit.
I termed it as a unit, but it's right now we just have one officer that does this work. And it's a branch, I guess, within the fire department.
Yeah, because this to me is a bit misleading.
I
Unit,
apologize.
when you think of unit, I think of more.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, there are ongoing discussions at the present time that are occurring that at some point in time will be brought forward to council that may become very relevant at that point in time. It's just that we have not finalized all of the process related to it yet, and it's still being looked at from a research perspective before it comes to council.
Okay.
But we will be finalizing it to go to council at one of the briefing sessions very early in the new year.
Like, thank Councilor Perry for that, but my issue was where I was pushing so much for the prevention, and then I see the report and we see fire prevention unit. Anybody outside this chamber could look at that to say, it's been addressed, and we have, I really don't know what I'm talking about here. We have a unit.
Yeah, and I think that again, I don't know the terminology, but I always assume that the inspection would play a large part
It's no different from what we had before.
in prevention, right?
No, it's the same as what we've always had.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on that one?
Mr. Mayor, if I can go back to the agreement with the firefighter, and really, the staff done a wonderful job on working on this, and like Councilor Perry said, they spent a lot of money, and everybody worked hard to get this done, so thank you.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Staben?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just getting back to the new contract, one bullet that should be as part of the details of the agreement, that it's going to The four-year dollar cost for the next 4 years for the city is roughly $270,000, which is a reasonable chunk of change, but I think we need to be aware that that's what it is. But when I say but is not the right word to describe a relationship moving forward that was amicable, and we had gotten this far without any outside intervention or help, and that's well done for both parties.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, just one quick question. It's a 4-year contract. Is that typical with our firefighters in the city in Corner Brook over the history of negotiations, or has it been typical 3 years? The 4 years is a typical contract? Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, were you talking about all section 5 or just 1 or 2?
Sorry, no, we're just, we caught up a little bit. We probably should have stopped after the first one there to just let, but yeah, we'll continue on. We'll give a little chance for everyone to have questions on that as we go through. But I would like to say, I guess, on that again, and echo those congratulations to the negotiating teams, and again, thank you to them and the union members as well. Again, to have it negotiated, first of all, is a win. To have it negotiated in-house, I guess, without any kind of mediation, without the more expensive legal costs. And I understand a very fair, reasonable discussion all around, and a renewed sense, I guess, of mutual respect, and the ability now to, I guess, move forward over the next 4 years and continue to do sort of good work for our citizens. So congratulations to everyone. I'm really grateful for this, again, calm, reasonable approach on everyone's behalf. So thank you. Next, Councillor Carey.
That we're continuing on with
Yes,
the
some more
fire
good
department.
news. Some more good news.
Just to give an update, at the last public meeting, we did approve, I guess, the new fire training facility for the Corner Brook Fire Department. Just to give the progress report with respect to it, we recently approved the Director of Protective Services to proceed with the modular shipping container live fire burn structure for the Corner Brook Fire Department. The progress today has been that the groundwork to stabilize the structure is underway. My understanding is it's near completion, if not already completed. The design work by the engineer is also nearing completion, and it will be done shortly. The containers have been selected and made ready at the port by the logistics for transportation to the site, and that should occur by midweek. In addition to that, I guess the welding contractor, my understanding is, has been engaged and ready to move forward as soon as logistics moves the particular containers to site and the engineering is finalized. We hope that it will be done this fall, and that we have it, I guess, I don't know if it'll be used this fall, but certainly completed this fall before the snow flies is the intention at this point in time. That will then give us the opportunity to train fire department, I guess our fire department, in that facility. And again, it'll provide additional savings back to the city because we won't be paying the cost to outsource the training and travel and overtime and other things that go with it. We'll be doing it in-house.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions on that item? Okay, let's move along.
The other item, Mr. Mayor, has to do with the old fire truck disposal. And the city is giving its old fire truck, rescue truck, to Harry's Harbour, Newfoundland as the recommendation. The City of Corner Brook was recently replaced the 1998 fire rescue truck, Unit 811. Unit 811 has a leaky water tank and some other mechanical issues, but could be serviceable to the Wright Fire Department if they want to put some money into it. The details of the agreement, the vehicle is being recommended to be sold for $1. On an as-is, where-is basis, the community of Harry Harbour Volunteer Fire Department is aware of the repairs that are being required and the plans to undertake them accordingly. At the present time, we've asked our legal to have a review of it to make sure that there are no liabilities that will revert back to the city in attachment to the transfer of the unit. And I guess at this point in time, I would just like to bring forward the motion that we approve the transfer of the unit subject to the finalization of legal. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So I don't know that we need to deal with that one right now, Councillor Carey, but we can sort of wait for that agreement, I guess.
We can wait for the agreement, but as you know as well, I guess it's subject to approval of council and the disposal of assets. That's why I just made it.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Well, is there any rush here? Can we bring that one forward?
We could, they're hoping to get it very shortly, but we can hold
Okay.
on to it.
Well, Marina, can we, okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, I'll make that motion. Would someone like to second that motion? Who's that? Okay, and, yeah, any questions, I guess, for this item before we vote?
There, Mr. Mayor, they're in the Springdale, Kings
Yeah.
Point area, Harry's Harbour?
Kings Point,
Yeah, I think so.
I was going to ask the same question because I was talking to a person from Hans Harbor, who I thought they were getting a fire truck. It's Harry's Harbor.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Okay.
I have a question, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor.
go ahead.
811 was a rescue truck.
Yes.
So a leaking tank, water tank, why is that an issue? It was never used as a pumper.
The fire department that's getting it is going to be using it as a pumper.
Yeah, no, the reason we're getting rid of the truck is because the water tank was leaking.
That's not the only reason. The truck is 22 years old, and
Yeah, okay, well, I think, Todd, maybe we could, like, to read this here, we're getting rid of the truck because the tank was leaking and she needed repairs. You know, you as director, do you want to replace your fleet because of age? That's fine, I mean, you're running a permanent.
Mr. Mayor, we're experiencing mechanical problems with the truck as well. Last year, the rear end fell off it. It's a continuous maintenance issue with the truck. So,
Mr. Mayor,
Okay,
that's my mistake, Mr. Mayor. We're not getting rid of the truck because it's leaking. We're getting rid of the truck as the director has indicated.
It's written here.
Yeah, it's 22 years old.
It's written here. It doesn't
I
say
realize
here
that, but
22
that's
years
not,
old.
Yeah.
I guess that's not the discussion that we had at the committee level before it came here. The discussion we had was that it was 22 years old. The discussion that council had, I guess, as well, when we decided to replace the unit some 4 or 5 years ago, was that we needed a more modern fleet, that we identified a particular vehicle that we could pull out off the fleet, that the unit that we were moving to actually replaces 2 vehicles, and it gives us a greater serviceability from the perspective of the usage that it was intended to be for. And I guess I neglect to mention that, but that's the rationale behind replacing it and the rationale behind, I guess, offering it to another community. But knowing full well that we have to be open and above board with them from a liability perspective, that yes, there are issues with the unit, tank-wise and mechanical-wise.
and more reliability, I guess, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's now with our legal, and that will be written into the transfer agreement.
Yeah.
Well, I would go on record to say if there's an issue with liability, then other departments wouldn't want to touch it either, because liability for us and liability for them.
and I would imagine,
All I'm saying is that, I'm looking at here, it says the background is the truck, the tank is leaking and for mechanical issues. You know, that's really not it. If we want to upgrade our fleet, that's fine. If our truck is 20 years old and we want to replace it, that's fine. But don't say it's because the tank is leaking, it's a rescue truck.
yeah.
It was never used as a pumper.
Yeah, and I think, Deputy Mayor, if they are planning to use it as a, in that regard, I guess that would be relevant to know that, that they are getting a truck that has a issue in the way they're going to use it.
I get that.
Yeah, but I guess,
I'm not overly concerned with how they're going to use it.
yeah, yeah. Again, I think that it's important, I guess, to understand why we have, or why we are getting rid of this equipment, for sure. It sounds like this has been in the plan for a while to offload this truck. But I guess Deputy Mayor's point is well taken, that, again, the background should be consistent with what we have, so.
Our fleet is at 8, we want to have.
Just to know, I mean, when you get this opened, and we can, as you said, but, when it gets to a point where that kind of repairs need to be done to,
I hear you, yes.
where it is, at some point, it's almost, the straw that broke the camel's back, it's just, we're not going to spend any more money on this machine now, we gotta get rid of it.
Yeah.
And being 22-year-old is a factor.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Can I add
Yes,
something?
go ahead.
I guess the level of fire services between Corner Brook and Harry's Harbour is a totally different thing, if you want to, well, I
Yeah,
don't know
no,
if it's an issue or not.
Okay,
but-
and I'll just ask everyone if we can,
Yeah.
just to address the chair, please. when
Yeah,
speaking.
I addressed you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
You-
apologize.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that and again, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Deputy, but it's not questioning the need to replace that unit in particular. It's just that the background material here
Yes.
neglects to mention the nature
Yeah.
specifically of that. So that's all, I
It
think,
could
is
be
the
the
issue.
business league, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's all the issues here.
And, you know, I mean, a structure fire in Mount Moriah and a structure fire in Cornwall is a structure fire.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't get any better or any worse because you look at it.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's all where I was going with that. I'm sorry, sir.
If I can, Mr. Mayor, for just a second, so we don't leave the public the wrong impression either. The procurement process on what's happening tonight began about 5 years ago. And I guess at that time, they identified what units they were pulling out and the rationale for pulling them out for replacement. This one was flagged as one that we really had to have a serious look at. And when we started looking at it and getting into the detailed procurement process, the committee as well, after lengthy consultation with Deputy Chief Harlan, identified, well, if we modified the truck somewhat, and through the procurement process, we could actually replace 2 units, or we could have a double use for that unit. And again, that became a cost savings. So I guess this is a 5-year process, and really this is the end of that 5-year process. We're taking one out and we're replacing it with a new, because the mechanical issues were just, I guess, cost-wise, were costing us more mechanical than it would have to try to keep fixing it. And we needed a unit that was basically fleet-ready and able to respond when we needed to respond.
Okay. No other questions? We'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor of, I guess, selling our truck for $1 to Harry's Harbor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Okay. Parking enforcement during COVID. We have some information there, Councillor?
Mayor, there was some concern being expressed by some businesses in the area. From mid-March through to May 18th, the city stopped parking enforcement altogether due to the COVID pandemic, and issues surrounding it, which included safety of our officers and I guess the public safety as well, coupled with that the many businesses were forced to close in that area due to the restrictions that had been placed upon them. Since May, the Municipal Enforcement Division has returned to enforcing parking regulations, including the downtown metered space. In accordance with the metered parking regulations, persons are not required to pay for parking between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I'm sorry, are required, Mr. Mayor, to pay for parking between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday every week, including holidays. The issue that was identified recently was question why parking enforcement is occurring from 9 a.m. And some businesses have expressed concern that earlier delivery drivers would be subject to tickets while delivering stock to the various businesses. And I guess that issue was raised with the director. That's not the case. Our municipal enforcement officers don't start work until 9 a.m. in the morning. They conclude work at 4 o'clock, so now we've said you can park between 8 and 9 and 4 and 6, and you're not going to get a ticket because it's not going to be enforced. But that was the issue. And I guess we've also, through the director, he's had a discussion with municipal enforcement and basically show some lenience in the areas where businesses are loading and offloading their goods, and so that they can get them in through their businesses. More so, I guess, given the times that we're in now with respect to the economy and COVID-19, just show a bit of flexibility is all we've asked them to do. And I guess we're raising it here this evening so that we can inform the business owners in Corner Brook that we've heard what you've said, and yeah, we're showing some flexibility.
Okay, thank you. And we have a notice, of course, the end of the season for ATVs.
Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, for ATVers and those that are coming into the city, Under the recreation vehicle regulations, the city allows for the operation of ATVs along designated routes from June 1 through October 31st of each year. This is a reminder to our residents that the designated route closes on Halloween, October 31st, and that operations on that route could result in traffic violations being issued by the RNC or our own municipal enforcement officers. We ask that no one operate a recreational vehicle on any of the roadways, thoroughfares after October the 31st.
Perfect. Thank
And
you.
there will be a return based on, I guess, the evaluation, and council looks at it, there will be some return in 2021. Depending on what the reviews are, it could be enhanced, it might be slightly changed, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, or ask Mr. Mayor, I think when we discussed that originally back in the spring, we would get a report
Yep.
at the end of the season, what kind of problems we had as far as enforcement and how the whole thing went and so on. So I look forward to hearing that, and I'm sure Mr. Flynn will make sure that we get that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I think.
No, that was the same
okay.
question
Yeah.
I was going to ask Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
One other question that, I guess some little information for the people that if they want any recommendations or comments to be made, that they can contact Mr. Flynn at tflynn@cornerbrook.com for the upcoming season, if they're going to look at it or whatever. So if anybody got any information, get hold of Mr. Flynn and let him know.
Yeah. Any recommendations would be appreciated.
Okay, yes?
No,
David?
I know you're going to get this report after, but it seemed to have went pretty well.
It does for the most part. We do have some
Yeah.
complaint areas, but for the most part, the overall program went very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that there's a few particular areas, particularly around our gateways to our trail system. We do have some problems to work out, as bikes, and it's not always, I guess, legal traffic. It's a lot of dirt bikes and things that we don't really have any jurisdiction over. We can't license that. It's illegal traffic anywhere in the city, of course. But we want to make sure, of course, that we balance the benefits, which seem to be many and seem to be very good from an economic standpoint. We're getting great reviews from the hoteliers, taking Booking Street into next year. But we want to make sure from a resident's point of view that it's palatable. We have a lot of demand from certain areas of town to grant them access to get to the trail system as well. And we want to make this, I guess, as good for our own citizens as it is for the tourists that come through and spend their money. So.
And Mr. Mayor, I'll be making the last run.
You'll make the last run.
I'd like him to get service, so.
Okay, yeah, before 10 p.m., right, on Saturday?
That's correct.
That's right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor. That's, again, good information. Okay, Councillor Granter, you're the lead on Public Works. Tell us the good news in Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a report on 4 or 5 items this evening. The first one deals with snow clearing and property markers, and listened to the media this evening, the news, weather forecast, some white fluffy stuff probably coming our way in the Irish terrains of Cornerbrook, Western Newfoundland tonight. Property markers are permitted to be plastic or wooden. Steel markers is a reminder to residents of the city. Steel markers are not permitted due to the serious safety hazard they create for our operators. The steel markers are installed, they will be removed and placed in the homeowner's property. The city does not accept responsibility for plastic or wooden markers that are knocked down during snow clearing. Residents are encouraged to erect property markers on their lawn, especially if they have experienced lawn damage in the past from city snow clearing operations. And we have some sections of the city and some homeowners that have had some property damage over the years. And residents requiring assistance erecting property markers are asked to call the city's customer inquiry line at 637-1666. And our city crews will give assistance as resources allow to help residents, especially seniors and others who may have difficulty installing these markers on their property. We can assist when our resources allow. So again, if you need some assistance with that, give us a call at 637-1666. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent.
If there's any questions on that, on the install of markers.
Yes, Councillor.
Not on the markers, but I was just wondering, if we had much, because you did mention the lawns being torn up, we had much uptake on the residents coming forward and asking for, because I think we offered them a payment.
We need some money
this
this year. I think, Mr. Burden can give us an update on that and how, what the uptake was like. I think we got some adjustments to make on that, do we?
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we did offer residents a payout as opposed to getting their lawn on the list repaired last summer. We had very limited uptake. We have gone back and reviewed the program or the process we put in place, and it became very clear that the amount that was offered wasn't enough to, for a lot of the homeowners to get a contractor to come in and actually do the work. So we still will, it was a bit of a pilot program last year. We're going to push forward with it again this year. We're going to come back to council in the spring with a new recommendation on an amount per square foot for the repair.
okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Any other questions on that one?
Just a couple if I can, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go
I'm
ahead.
assuming that we are prepared salt and sand wise this year at this point in time?
Yep. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, I mean, we can, I don't know, Donnie, while you're at the mic.
Yeah, our salt was delivered in July of 2020, so our salt shed is now full, and our sand was actually delivered just the weekend before last. So we have sand and salt is all ready for the summer, or sorry, for the winter, and our salt trucks are prepared for everything that we need for tonight.
I've raised it, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
COVID, there have been delays
Yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
shipping in some municipalities.
Absolutely.
And I guess if I can just raise one other issue, Mr. Mayor, notice this evening that the province has now allowing studded tires, winter tires to be put on effective immediately versus November 1, which would be the traditional one because of the snow that's coming the next few days.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, Councillor Grant, if any other, you have the next update.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, excuse me, water and wastewater summary. I won't go through all the details of these, but just pick a few. Under the water and wastewater repairs 2020, we had 84 repairs, and these are items like curb stop repairs, feeder mains, hydrants, new service, sewer mains, etc. So there were 84 of those. We had 121 of water and wastewater recoverables, and that's work that city crews would do to a business and or a residents in the city, which we bill back to them and get our money back on that. So that will be items like additional water services, Aquatech service, clear debris from manholes, flow test, new services, repair sewers, road closures, etc. And that included 121 in total. Some other complaints, water and wastewater complaints. We had 350 of those, things like clean water lines. There were 2 of those. Curb stop repairs, 34. Hydrant snow clearing last winter were 19. Locate curb stops, 44. Mainline repairs, 2070 for 7. So for a total of 350 of those, that's for complaints. When we say the word complaint, we don't necessarily mean that it was a negative. Someone looking for a curb stop. So someone will call the city and they will look for the curb stop. So that's really not a complaint. So there are 350 of those. For a grand total of 350. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And I just noticed that it has the budget for our wastewater is about the same as our snow clearing budget in total. So again, very busy department. So yes, go ahead.
Just a question, Mr. Mayor. I see we had 39 water leaks. Is that down from last year? Or, I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, we had
Oh my God.
a water leak every second day. Yeah, and almost broke our budget there.
Mr. Burden?
So the number of water leaks this year, it's a bit of a skewed number because the number is actually probably up over the last few years, but it's not necessarily because our system is getting any worse. The council granted Public Works and Water and Wastewater Division some extra resources last year for leak detection, which has been greatly successful. And we've identified and repaired more leaks than we have in the last couple of years. which you'll see in the next report, is greatly helping our water demand, the city's water demand is going down quite a bit.
It's actually a good segue, but go ahead.
We don't want it, Mr. Mayor, we don't want to compare to someone south of our Canadian border, but because of the leak detection equipment, we're able to find more leaks and then repair more leaks. That's all I'll say about that.
You don't test, you don't have cases. Yeah, that's right. Any other questions there?
Mayor, one question to Mr. Burton. Are we still sending letters to residents to underwater if the water froze over the last few years?
That's correct. And the letters actually are going out, if they haven't gone, they'll be going in the next week or so. So that's a memo to any resident that has had a frozen water line issue in the past that we've identified. A letter goes out as a reminder to trickle their water to basically.
It'd be great for the residents out there to look into a drip valve, I think it's called, if you get it put on their water line. It's not very expensive, maybe $10 or $15, but it just is a little drip valve. It saves water consumption for the city, which would keep the cost down a bit. So if the residents could look into it, you can buy them pretty well at any hardware store around. And they're not expensive, and they're fairly easy to put on. So, little information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Greider, continue on. I guess we had a segue into talking about our water usage.
We did indeed. So just a little briefing on the water treatment plant. September of this year has been the lowest water usage September yet. It's the fourth lowest month on plant record. June 2017 was the lowest, but only by 16,763 cubic meters. A lot of good things happened this summer with regards to leak detection, as Mr. Burton just spoke to, and remediation. It's showing in the totals. The average daily usage of the city was 21 million liters per day at a cost of approximately $98.44 per million liters treated. The pipe insulation in the basement is now complete. It will be a few months before we see any significant impact on the pipe condensation. That's in the actual plant, Mr. Mayor. We are already seeing a difference in temperature as well as a drop of roughly 10 decibels in ambient noise.
Oh, that's good. Any questions on that? Good news. Everyone keep it up.
No, that's way down, because 3 or 4 years ago it was almost 30 million liters a day.
And how much is it? It's $100 per million liters?
$19.44.
Yeah, so again, anything we could do to save water does reflect, I guess, in our tax bill. So it's important to remember that, for sure. And
Finally, Mr. Mayor,
yes.
just a quick note on the asphalt patching around the city. To date, in 2020, we have repaired approximately 80 water and wastewater cuts, with approximately 35 remaining to repair. Repairs will continue until early November, when the asphalt plant shuts down for the season. Water and wastewater cut repairs after early November will be done in-house using our asphalt reclaimer and hot box, such that water and wastewater cuts are repaired in a timely manner over the winter, as we did last season as well, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent, excellent. Any questions on that? Yes, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, back to the literage and the cost per million liters. Will that be impacted by the opening of the new hospital and the extended care facilities?
Mr. Charters? I would venture to guess to say yes, but he might know some more details.
The answer, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, the answer is absolutely yes. The new acute care hospital will draw approximately 5 times more water than the current building.
Wow.
How much?
5 times more. Good. So it's important for us to get our levels down. We have capacity to spare, I guess, but we don't like to push it. We're getting down to a point now, I think, where we're almost down to two of our 3 streams, aren't we?
That's correct, yeah. The plant, for anyone who's never been at the plant, it has 3 independent trains that we treat water with. And now that we're at in the 20 million liters per day, we're very comfortable running 2 of 3 trains, which is number 1, a cost savings, but number 2, it gives us some redundancy for being able to shut stuff down and do the maintenance and repairs that we need to do on various trains.
Excellent. Excellent.
Just one question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Are we open to a tour or whatever it is for visitors for the water treatment plant now, or do we have, what's the process? What's the arrangement?
We, before COVID, we had a fairly open door policy for residents who wanted to tour the facility. The 3 operators up there, amongst all city employees, are very proud of that facility. Since COVID started in March, we have limited the only people allowed in the plant now are the 3 operators, just to protect them from any possible infection. So right now, it's not open to tours, but as soon as the COVID restrictions lift, I'll make council aware, and we can have that come open back to the public.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Burden.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, well, let's keep on trucking. Councillor Chason, you're the lead for development and planning. I guess some projects, I guess, that our team are working on.
Over one, 6-4.
Oh, sorry. No.
Asphalt patching?
Yep.
Yeah, we did that. Yep, we did that. All done.
I'm sorry, I'm still on the water treatment, sorry.
There you go. Are you, now, Councillor Carey, I'm sure you care about asphalt as much as the rest of us.
Absolutely.
You all get enough calls.
There you go.
I could go over it again.
No, that's quite all right.
Oh, you didn't hear that.
That's okay. We've got lots left on the agenda, so there you go. So Councillor Chason, please tell us. There's actually some really interesting stories. A lot of questions, I guess, will be answered here in this report.
Okay. I never made the meeting, so this is new to me, so I may have to refer back to Director Charters to help me out with some of this. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the meeting this week, so here we go. I'm reading this right from wherever. Okay, this report is intended to serve as an update to Council regarding the various development and planning projects. Current projects update are as follows. Halipoo Circle. Project is underway, expected completion approximately October the 30th, 2020. This project is nearing completion, looks amazing. The circle is a great addition to Majestic Square. We have some questions, or if anybody got questions, do they ask now or do they ask at the end?
We can go through if you want, and then
Okay.
we can go back after. That's fine.
And the Cornwall Acute Care Hospital, the project is well underway with a completion date currently set for the end of 2023. This project may be delayed due to some issues in staffing due to COVID restrictions. For a short time, they were delayed due to worker restrictions. The Grenfell Drive Medical Center, Dr. Justin French. Permit date was July the 4th, 2019, and the completion date is in the spring of 2021. This project is progressing on schedule. Interior work has commenced. The building is quite impressive and the largest private building ever constructed in the city.
Wow.
And the new permit programming. Completion date, January, go live. Software installed with IT department and city work staff ongoing. Training date set for November and December for staff training and program development. This project will add tracking and employee efficiencies to all projects. The current building permit program is showing signs of failure with some data loss. The IT department has worked hard to help us move the project forward. Okay, new municipal plan. Review has been ongoing for a year now. RFP will be sent by the end of November, and the completion date for this is going to be the end of 2022. This project is on schedule for completion. We plan to make it easier for uses to be permitted with less potential to require a large amount of individual plan amendments. We plan to achieve this by allowing a greater amount of uses per zone with large amounts of discretion for council to approve or refuse uses. To do orthodontist building, Dr. Bill Taylor. Project's underway. The permit date was June the 10th, 2020, and the completion date is going to be the summer 2021. This project is progressing on schedule. Foundation installed, exterior walls, steel framing being erected, and contractor is hopeful that the building will be enclosed before the snow. Development statistics, and we have a bunch of graphs here that shows the total value of the construction and the value of the permits, which Mr. Chairman, would you like to run me through that?
There you go.
Huh?
Sure, through you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
The first graph you see is just a comparison over the other years. You see about $136 million of value of construction has taken place in Thornbrook for 2020. Now, you see the graph on the next page of the hospital removed. The cost of the hospital is about $121 million. So we are doing better than last year overall with the hospital removed, but of course all the construction in the city counts and helps the economy and the city of Thornbrook for sure. So I just wanted council to see where we are as compared to other years and the other graph there, the value of the building permits. That just kind of shows a monthly change in where we are with the building permits. So you can see it's slow in January, February, March typically, and then it picks up over time. So that's where we are. Good news story there.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions on this one before we go ahead? Or I guess there are some other, we'll go with this first.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
The benefit now of the new permit program, the train and so on, what's the turnaround or the expected benefit of speeding up the process? Where is that going to take us now in January?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure what the actual improvements are going to be, but the system that we're currently using is DOS-based, which is very cumbersome. Only one person can access it at a time. One person can check on the progress of permits at a time. So there will be significant improvements with efficiency. For example, I will be able to check to see what permits are in the process, whereas before I wasn't able to do that. So we really feel that we'll have a better handle on where permits are in the process, and we'll be able to update our customers, which is the public, a lot easier now with the new program.
Okay.
So am I correct in hearing that the director said because there are more eyes on the process, things will speed up? Is that what I heard?
It should be.
That's exactly what I said.
Mr. Mayor, I think what I heard was DOS came over on Noah's Ark. And it's totally antiquated.
DOS, DOS for the children at home. No, that's yeah.
Okay, if I could.
Yes,
so-
absolutely.
So what I'm hearing is that if a staff member who's working on a certain permit takes their well-deserved holiday, then even though they're not in on holidays, we could still access and see where things are going, that kind of thing, instead of having to wait till they get back?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That should be pretty good.
Yeah,
Good.
it is very frustrating right now, and even the reports that we get at a council level aren't as useful as they could be, and in terms of the breakdown of where the permits are coming from and the nature of the permits and how much they're worth. So again, look forward. This is one of the few systems I think that we have right now. Well, I think this is probably the most old, system that we have. So it's about time we update that and link it in with our GIS system and things like that. So it's great.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted the Halloween circle in there is almost completed now. And I stopped in the other day talking to the gentleman that were working around there. I've never seen a bunch of proud men in their life at the work they're doing in there. And it's a lot of tedious work that ladies brick down the way they got it met. And a lot of people were worried about that area, we're losing green space. But if anything, it's going to be better for the residents there to be chair benches around there for them to sit down and relax and everything like that. I think it's a great asset there for the city, especially in the outside area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, go ahead.
Just want to ask, and it's not on this, but I guess what's the status of our roundabout?
That's on the capital report.
Okay,
Down further in the agenda.
I will wait for the capital report.
Yeah, this is
That's
all.
my question.
These are our projects. Like the capital project
Okay.
will have our city ones. But yes, and again, Councillor Buckles' point, the the circle, I guess, is a commemoration to missing and murdered Indigenous women. I'm getting a lot of questions about it because it is quite a construction zone there right now. But again, the conceptual drawing shows, I guess, a beautiful, peaceful area for reflection, flowers in those planters, as well as the benches, as you mentioned. And so I think that people are worried about, I guess, us encroaching on the green spaces in our downtown. But this is actually, I don't think a bench and benches and flowers are an encroachment of green space. I think it's an enhancement of it. And of course, we were very careful to take care to not interrupt some of the space in front of the gazebo where we have some of our gatherings on our Sounds of Summer and other things like that, of course. But I know that it's going to be a great, again, build our relationship with the Halibut First Nation, of course, as we go forward, a very important part of our community and representing over a quarter of our citizens as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that project come forward. So, good stuff. Yes.
No, you go ahead. You want to talk about that?
I think it's a great project, Mr. Mayor, and I've listened to some residents with regard to the green space, and we talked about the business there for Tim Hortons. That was private land, that was my understanding before where Tim Hortons is still. But I think we're at a stage in that particular area that we should maintain, we can have that discussion later, but we should maintain the green spaces there without any further development in that spot, because I think it's nice what's there now, and it's an enhancement with the flowers and that Halibut circle that's been put there. But I think we're at the end of development and putting other things on that particular green space, on West Street.
Yep. Sure. Yes.
Agreed.
I guess somebody, it was mentioned about the slab of concrete that's going to hold the words Corner Brook.
Yes.
Do anybody know when that is going to happen? Because
It's coming up later.
Okay, that's coming up later too.
Yes, coming up later too.
Package, I guess that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Not only didn't I attend the meeting, I didn't read the package either. Well,
Reading.
forget it.
Okay.
I'll ask it. I've seen there's no filter on tonight. We knew it was going to happen.
There you go. Okay. Next, we have an RFD for the map and text amendments, the municipal plan and development regs. So this is something, I guess, it's an RFD, and we'll I guess we got to do the consultation, but it'll come up again as we go through. Okay, so go ahead, Councillor Chason, if you will.
Notes for proposed amendment MPDR 20-01. In an effort to improve the efficiency of future amendments and staff decisions related to specific zoning issues, staff are proposing to amend the current Integrated Municipal Integrated Sustainability Plan, also known as IMSP, and development regulations as detailed in the RFD. This amendment proposes two things. To allow, number one, the first thing is to allow staff to make changes to only one map instead of two. Map A is frequently changed based on decisions of council, while Map B is essentially the broader zoning boundary map that is not changed frequently. Staff are proposing that the only Map A be changed when necessary, and it's also referred to as map amendment. Number two, the staff be given authority to adjust split zones on properties when it is clearly a boundary transfer issue. If the boundary is deliberately a split zone, any change would be required to be approved by council. This could speed up the development application process for simple changes by several months, and that's referred to as the text amendment.
Okay.
The RFD before council is not approval of the amendment at this stage, only requesting permission to seek public input for the proposed amendments. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Excellent.
That's what I was given.
Perfect. And I guess, Mr. Charters, would you like to add anything to that? I know it's a lot of gobbledygook for people at home.
First of all, I apologize for the typo on what you just read.
What did I tell you? What was it?
Integrated.
It was.
That's my fault. Nothing really to add. This is something that we talked about recently. An issue came up where a gentleman had a split zone on his property and he wanted to build a garage. And we couldn't do that because of the split zone, and we had to go through the rezoning process. So what we're talking about when it's map transfer, it's paper documents, it's turning that into GIS layers. There's some discrepancies where those lines fall sometimes. So in order to fix that, we're asking council for, well, we'll go through the process, but we'll ask council to give us the discretion to fix those errors without going through the long zoning process. But in some instances where you have a large parcel of property, it could be split zoned, and that's intentional. To change that, we would have to go through the rezoning process. But again, this is something the staff picked up on and a way to improve it.
Okay. Okay, so we do need a motion to commence that consultation process?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Someone like to second that? Thank you. Any questions?
Just one question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Or a point and then a question. When we get into map A's and map B's, and I read all the background materials on it, it becomes a little bit confusing. It will become a little bit confusing, I guess, for some individuals in the general public if they participate in the process, because they're not really an understanding of what map A, map B's focus on. And I guess I found myself as well getting caught up in some of that when I was going down through the material. For example, map A, it says that it's only the urban areas of Corner Brook, whereas map B says it's the full extent of Corner Brook, and that we're only going to be changing map A's as the proposed, I guess, process we're going through, and not map B. And I guess in going through the process, it becomes a little bit clumsy. So I can ask the director, Mr. Mayor, to explain why you would change the map A and not the map B, given that map B covers all of Corner Brook and map A only covers the urban areas.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Map B actually covers the extents of the zoning boundary, which goes almost to Steady Brook, for example. So we don't make a lot of changes in that portion of our zoning boundary. That's concentrated in map A, which is essentially the city proper. So it gives that, it's a little quicker, it's a little less cumbersome for staff. We only update one map, and they don't have to do two maps. And do the write-up and include that in there.
And just
More to do with the planning boundary versus...
the municipal boundary.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing, the split boundary aspect is with property lines versus zone lines.
Yes.
So where there's slight discrepancies because of newer surveys or things like that, I guess we could fix those typos, for lack of a better word.
Essentially,
Right.
My point being that we could have clear language when we go public.
Well, and I would imagine the public comment on this would be from people who
know.
would have some knowledge in this area, as opposed to, maybe myself. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so we got a motion on that, right? So we ready for a vote? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Let the consultation begin. Okay, thank you, Councillor Chason. Councillor Buckle, we have some information from our, community services, I guess, related to our recreation and tourism specifically, and our sustainable development. So if you would, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's a very busy department, I would say. Anyway, to answer Councillor Chason's question on the Corner Brook sign here, it's been delayed and it will be installed this spring. But anyway, it's going to be very, very pretty. And we'll have hopefully our tools will be up by then. After planted there the other day. So that's delayed or signed. And also the STAR program, the GeoPark, staff are attending board meetings coming up in November to update on the process on it. The trails, we're working with a trail designer and builder for local stakeholders and funding partners to determine a path forward, hoping for capital funding to be able to begin work in the summer of 2021. And their big one, I guess, is their festivals. This year we had to postpone our Jigs and Wheels and Colors of Corner Brook, but we're hoping to put it off in 2021. And also, the city of Corner Brook and the Corner Brook Kinsmen will be making an announcement on an event that will be taking place before Christmas. That's all I can say right now. We're meeting with the Kinsmen tomorrow morning.
That's pretty cryptic.
Yeah, we don't want to get into too much detail because the Kinsmen, we're working with them. So we should know early this week, or what's today? Monday, is it? we should know by Wednesday, and there should be an announcement coming out on that. And I think the residents and all of council will be very impressed with what's going to happen. The staff is working on putting the RFP together for branding of the city, which will be released later this fall. And the advisory committee is to call together a larger committee to update them on work being done behind the scenes, the advisory committee. Tourism Newfoundland website promotional material, updated content to significantly improve the Cornbrook Bay of Islands area information on their site. Also working with Western DMO to identify information gaps on various platforms to improve the profile of the Cornbrook region on social media, partnering with DMO to create a video content. Staff are working on putting together map boards that will be installed throughout the city. And we're hoping to highlight places to see and things to do in the city and the surrounding area. And our City Hall piano is painted, and it was completed this summer, but now with the COVID on the go, hopefully we'll get it put in next year on the square out here. Our visitor information, staff are working with the Board of Trade to improve services currently being offered at the center. Our mill whistle we're working, we'll get that operating for next year, and also it could be making an appearance soon. I don't want to give away too much.
I think it's there. I think we just read it.
Okay, but no, but what's going to be happening?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Leave it-
we can
General
figure
public.
Leave it to the kinsman. Don't
Yeah,
steal
we're
the
not
don't
leaving
steal the
it.
kinsman thunder. Yeah.
Maybe it should have been written in here.
I know.
There you
Do that. We're working with other staff to develop a plan to complete this phase of the project with a focus on the visitor experience in the downtown. Public art, and if you notice, if you drove around town over on Broadway, there's some public art over there, which I think is great there, and I'm still trying to find out who owns the feet in a couple of spots there. Have a look when you pass by. Anyway,
That's the art on the. There's two pieces, I guess, that's sponsored by the city. Just so everyone knows, the one over at Village Music, I think we were able to give some help for, as I understand, and as well the one there at the retaining wall down in Lower Broadway. As well, that's a project I think of Lon, and I know Jane Ray was there working on it, but I know that's a project I think that we helped sponsor
we
through a
help
grants
sponsor
program.
that, which looks great over there now, right? But it's interesting to drive by there and just have a look at it, see whose feet you can pick up there.
Okay.
Okay? So it's great, a lot of people talk about it. We have the cruise committee has been on hold until further notice because we're not sure what's going to be happening come the spring. And the Community Gardens program was a huge success for this year, and we're working with Western Environment Center to develop a neighborhood composting program as part of their garden sites. They expect to expand the garden in the Curling area in 2021. Okay? And I'm not sure, Councillor Chason, did you bring, these potatoes from a community garden?
Yep.
But don't ruin it. That's later down in the.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's later down in the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
See.
Maybe the whole is trying to steal each other's ideas.
I had to bring up the potato. Anyway, the staff are working on an application under the federal COVID relief fund to complete upgrades to the Great Trail in the west end of the city. This will be an 80-20 funding, which is another good thing happening through the city, and also the hospital trail. We're working with West Coast Cycling Association to develop a trail connection from the Grenfell campus to the new hospital, which will be here
Okay,
sooner
that'd be
than everybody realizes.
that'd be excellent.
The urban forestry staff are working with the Canadian Forestry Services to develop a partnership to better manage our urban forests. Staff has been inundated with calls requesting trees to be trimmed or removed from city property. So just bear with us and that, and we'll get back to you. Partners for Climate Protection. Staff has resumed quarterly meetings after not meeting during height of COVID, and projects initiatives renewed and updated. and the Grenfell Environmental Policy Institute lab, working with EPI to study and report on a number of topics, including invasive plant species and alternate transit models, and our waste management. Staff has led a research project regarding the possibility of improving and enhancing their yard waste or fall leaf collection program. So the staff has been very busy. There's a lot of good things happening here throughout the city. And like I said, later in the week, expect a nice announcement from the Infant Club of Cornbrook and also the City of Cornbrook for a great festival that's going to be taking place. Thank you.
There you go. Okay. Any questions on any of those? Yes, go ahead, Councillor Staben.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to just make a quick comment on the one line, which was branding.
Yes.
And staff are working on the branding RFP to be released later this fall. Now, it goes back to 2017, when the predecessor to Star, and we won't mention his name, but we all know who he was, recommended that we would have a branding, a tourism hub for Cornerbrook, so that we would be the center of the Bay of Islands and so on and so forth. So we all agreed to that, and here we are now 3 years later. So I'm glad to see that that's not forgotten, and that we're going to see something on this before the end of the year.
Yep. And that's, I think, one of the first 4 or 5 steps out of the STAR process, branding for not just the city, but the entire Bay of Islands, Lower Humber area. Yep. Any other questions there?
That was the question I had, Mr. Mayor.
Uh-huh.
One more thing, Mr. Mayor. Although the Jigs and Wheels festival didn't take place this year, but going around different communities and talking to a lot of the APDers and listening to these guys that travel in that, they were looking forward to it, and they're looking forward to it this year. And even the residents of the corner are looking forward to an event to take place back on Broadway, like we had the previous year. So hopefully we'll get everything straightened away, and that will go ahead this year.
Definitely look forward to gathering again. Okay, well, thank you very much. Councillor Staben, you're the lead on Finance and Admin. We've got a few items there, I guess, to bring forward.
We do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. Our committee had a meeting, I think, back on October the 12th. So we discussed all relevant issues, and here are some of the ones that we have for everybody's consideration and we want to bring forward today. The first one, Mr. Mayor, is the Assessment Review Commissioner. And we all know that this usually happens this time of the year because it goes back to Section 31-1 of the Assessment Act, that the City of Cornwall is required to appoint a person to the position of Assessment Review Commissioner for the upcoming 2021 year. The City has solicited expressions of interest in the position, and this will close on October 30th, 2020. Staff will bring forward a recommendation for the position, and that will be made at the public meeting on November the 9th, Mr. Mayor. That's pretty well in on that one, unless there's any questions.
Okay.
Okay, hearing none. I want to give council and everybody an update on the business tax relief program. Back in March 31st, 2020, the city released a business tax relief program that allowed businesses in selected categories to receive a tax credit equal to 2 months of business tax up to a maximum of $1,000. Businesses were required to, of course, submit an application. At the Finance and Admin Standing Committee meeting, it was agreed that the city will continue to accept applications into the program until December 31st, 2020. To date, so far this year, 98 of the 285 businesses that are eligible have applied. And the total credit to date is $49,129.48. All qualifying businesses are encouraged to apply by using the application that is on our website, www.cornerbrook.com/COVID-19 business tax adjustment-form. I'm probably read too fast.
Well, you can Google it, I'm sure,
Yeah.
or go search on our
Part
site.
of it now is connected to the right dots.
Okay.
So I guess there's nothing on that.
Now, I guess the one thing, though, I guess, is to note that the deadline is at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we did, and I'm very pleased to say this council did approve, I think, the most aggressive tax credit COVID-related program that I know of in the province. We did do a 2-month business tax holiday for a number of the retail and service businesses, particularly focused at the small businesses because of the cap. But again, we know we can't solve everyone's problem, but I'm sure that up to $1,000 in savings on business tax did help a lot of businesses. So
I think we were the only ones in the province, Mr. Park, is that correct? Or
The only one I'm aware of that I can think of that actually had a credit program. A number of municipalities had interest freezes, which the city had as well, but I'm not aware of anybody else that offered a credit.
yeah, and again, it's a small matter for compared to the hardship that some are
I guess at the end of
doing.
the day, we can say we are for small business in our community.
Yeah,
As much as we can afford.
as much as we can afford. That's right.
Two more items. The second last one, Mr. Mayor, our tax receivable update for all. As per usual, the city has been actively working to collect accounts that are outstanding in both business and property tax. At the end of September, there was a total of $4,307,987 outstanding in 1,543 accounts, I'd say. Of these outstanding accounts, 268 are for business taxes, totaling $760,655. In comparison to 2019, and this is always important when we look at this, at the end of September, there was a total of $3,559,901 with 1,364 accounts. Of these accounts in 2019, 231 were business accounts totaling to $591,918. So I guess you can see, Mr. Mayor, that we are somewhat behind in 2020 as in 2019. As the challenges have begun to slow from COVID-19, staff are actively working to collect outstanding accounts. We encourage residents and businesses with outstanding taxes to make all suitable arrangements to have these accounts paid in full or have a payment plan set. We encourage account holders to reach out to the city collector at 637-1568 or mwalsh@cornerbrook.com with any questions or concerns that they may have. So that's our status of the receivables, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Just a quick question if I can, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
In the previous minutes, we approved a moment ago, $3,995,000 outstanding or carried forward into 2020 from 2019. So the number that we're having here tonight, does that include that carryover from 19?
Yeah, the numbers that are referenced there for as of September is the total number of accounts that are outstanding. Some of them are obviously have balances only for 2020, some of them still have balances that are outstanding for 2019 or prior.
So I guess my next question is, can we get a split to see exactly what we have remaining for 19 versus what we have for 2020?
As of the end of September, there was, of the 1,500 accounts that were outstanding, 514 of them had balance outstanding from the prior year.
1/3.
And what would be the total amounts, dollar-wise?
Outstanding from the prior year?
Yes, dollar-wise.
I don't have the total amounts that were outstanding from the prior year, but all those 514 accounts, just under 2.5 million was in total outstanding from those. So that includes from the current year plus prior years.
Okay, and I guess that's what I'm trying to get at, because the numbers, when you just look at them on the surface, are somewhat skewed until you start peeling back some of the layers. Because we're not really 4 million, we're closer around 2.5. Is that what you're saying?
2.5, as of the end of September, about 2.5 million was outstanding from accounts that had balances owing from prior to this year.
Correct. So that would be down from 3.995.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was earlier in the year.
Yes.
Yes, so
Okay.
for the same period a year ago, we're about $225,000 higher than outstanding than where we were last year at the same point.
And that's
Yeah.
not bad, I guess, given the year that we've come through and given the year that all municipalities are going through. We're not in a bad financial position, I guess is the point I'm trying to make here, based on the carryovers from 19 into 2020.
Yeah, and I think that if we looked at the graphs, I know it's in the background with the Finance Committee, you can see how things sort of, early on where the gap was a little wider, but it starts to close a little bit, but then remain somewhat consistent. I guess the fear is that what will happen in the coming year in terms of businesses, and I would expect there to be some hardship going forward. But yes, right now, I think that Mr. Park would have to say he's probably pleasantly surprised. I don't know the right words, but compared to what we were looking at back in March.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and these numbers are as of the end of September, year to date, or I guess month to date in October. We're looking pretty favorable as well. So we probably still won't be back to where we were a year ago, but the gap is narrowing significantly through October, and we expect the same will happen in November and December.
Yeah.
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think the important where we are in April or in the next spring is where we are, how we did for 2020.
Yeah,
That's when the rubber hits the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess, Mr. Mayor, the other question that I have is that, I guess the reason I raise it, and I'm not saying that businesses are going to close from corner work. Some businesses will survive the pandemic, some businesses are going to struggle. But I guess moving into the next fiscal year, as Councillor Steve just alluded to, and yourself just alluded to, it becomes more critical in 2021 as to what happens. And if the carryovers are significant from 2020 going into 2021, and some businesses do not survive it, we're going to receive a larger hit taxation-wise. And I guess that's the concern that I have with it, because there's really no way of mitigating that. If the businesses go under, the businesses go under. It's tax revenues that we're not going to be able to recover.
And I think that is a perfect segue, I think, to Councillor Staben's next item, which gives, I guess, that again paints that picture sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to stress that we did have a total financial review on our October meeting, and here's some of the highlights that I'd like to share with all of you. So, back at our last meeting, the committee reviewed the year-to-date results for the City of Cornwall. 2020 has been a challenging year for many individuals and all businesses. The City of Cornwall is no different. Once the COVID-19 pandemic hit Newfoundland and Labrador, the city had to react quickly to ensure the safety of our employees and our residents. It became obvious to the city that while many of the revenue streams for the city would continue unchanged, there were a number of areas that would see a significant decrease. Business tax revenues, civic center revenues, interest revenues, and parking meter collections are somewhat reduced revenue streams. These reduced streams, combined with higher operating costs relating to operating costs for COVID-19 precautions, presented serious financial concerns for the city. Without further action, the city would have been facing a deficit of $1 million or more for 2020. Staff and council developed a plan to reduce expenditures in 2020 in a manner to ensure that the city did not face a deficit. All non-discretionary spending was reviewed, travel was eliminated, vacated positions were not filled unless required, short-term layoffs were implemented at the Civic Center, and service levels in public works were reviewed to ensure core services were provided. At this point in time, the city does not expect there to be a deficit for 2020. Good news there. Staff and council are in the process of developing the 2021 budget. The budget will be a challenging budget as the city develops a plan to continue to provide a high level of service with lower revenues. This uncertainty of the impacts of the pandemic will have in 2021 for our residents and business community makes the 2021 budget even more challenging. And Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to refresh our memories that back in March when we first looked at this, I think it was the end of March, I think Mr. Park was predicting probably at the worst case scenario $1.5 million loss of revenue. And, we council at the time agreed to some suitable cuts to offset loss of revenue and stated we made the right decisions for saving our budget. And to me, the key sentence to what was said here today is that the city does not expect to be a deficit for 2020. So I think that's well done for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Okay. And obviously, council is going to be facing eyes in the budget process. I know staff have been working very hard, diligently. And of course, if there's any, we aren't able this year to do our normal dog and pony show when it comes to our budget consultations. But if you do have any comments, I guess, Mr. Park, would it be fair to send them to you? Would be the best place? So dpark at cornerbrook.com. If you have any ideas or suggestions, because we will be going through that process in the coming weeks, of course, preparing for a December rollout.
Next Monday night, Mr. Mayor.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Staben. Deputy Mayor Griffin, we have some updates on some of our capital projects that the city is working on, if you would please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is intended to serve as an update to Council regarding the various capital projects being undertaken in the city. The current project updates are as follows. Asphalt paving program, street paving component is complete and only patching portion of the program remains. Contractor is to complete the patching in the coming weeks. The retaining wall at 38 Gibbons Avenue project is now complete. The Gale Street and Cochrane Street waterline replacement project is complete and waiting for a final claim to be submitted. Woodman's Culvert replacement project is about 95% complete. Paving taking place this week, with only final cleanup to be completed in the spring of 2021, and that would include the hydroseeding, etc. Jubilee Clubhouse project is 99% complete with minor hardware installation remaining. Once this occurs, building keys can be handed over to Corner Brook Baseball. Landscaping work also remains, but will be completed this fall. The 911 redundant line project is now complete. The West Valley Confederation Drive roundabout, a new schedule was recently submitted by the contractor, and now construction is scheduled to begin as soon as the weather permits in the spring of 2021. And finally, Mr. Mayor, City Hall windowsills, consultant SNC, preparing for quotation to complete the loading bay area of the building.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on these items? Yes, go ahead.
A couple of questions if I can, Mr. Mayor. I knew asphalt will be back on the agenda. Contrary to popular belief. Mr. Mayor, are we stockpiling asphalt similar to what we did in previous years so that we have asphalt on hand throughout the winter in the event that we need it rather than use coal patch?
And I see Mr. Burden nodding his head vigorously, but yes, we have a lot of recycled asphalt. I think you see it over by the salt shed, a big pile.
Yep. And I guess the second question, if I can, Mr. Mayor, is to do with the roundabout. Given that the project is delayed until 2021, where do we sit cost-wise with that particular project in terms of 2021 costing versus 2020 costing from a procurement perspective? And is there any penalty system built into the existing contract?
Yeah, Mr. Charters, can you?
Through Mr. Mayor, I don't believe the price will change. I could be corrected there. I would argue that although we did intend for this project to occur this fall, I think anytime you do cold weather construction, your costs are going to increase. So that was one of the reasons we accepted the new schedule, was to complete it in the spring, which we're trying to avoid cost overruns. So I think we'll have a better product in the spring, in the summer, and hopefully our intent there is to reduce costs that could be associated with cold weather construction.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on these items?
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question on Jubilee Clubhouse. Are we going to have some kind of a formal celebration, or whatever it is, when we open the place and turn bands or the keys?
I think that, it would be appropriate to do that in probably May or June.
Okay.
Hopefully, hopefully we'll be snow-free by then.
Mr. Charters can get in touch with Blue Face Care Foundation,
There you go.
so, and that they can be part of the process.
Excellent. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, it's good to see that the Woodlands culvert replacement, when it is done, it's completed. I call it completed. And you can drive over pavement, it's completed. So it looks good up there.
Yeah, the paving was done last week, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
is the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks really nice.
Question on that one, I'll give Darren, is were there any significant change orders on that project?
I think council has seen them by now. I don't believe so.
Yeah, we haven't encountered any across our desks yet,
I
so.
haven't been informed of any significant change orders on the project.
Okay, excellent, good.
Just one question, Mr. Mayor, in relation to the actual road completion itself. When are we going to put lines there? Because I notice, and probably myself as well, individuals in Cornerbrook don't drive well if you don't have lines. For some reason.
Mr. Charters?
Snow covered tomorrow.
That too. Mr. Mayor, it's very difficult to put road markings down this time of year. Paint will probably last 2 days, if that. So yeah, we'll probably have to wait till the spring before we do the markings there.
Yeah, that's,
Well, they have to do some...
I wonder, Mr. Mayor, could we just put a couple of dots there or something, you know, but I don't know if that'll have some fire.
We can definitely look into it.
Mr. Mayor, we're going to need something.
something we are going to have, of course, we are going to have snow cover soon. But yeah, Mr. Burton, you got something to say about that?
Just a quick update on the lines is our paving contractor is now trying to source some paint. He was obviously done painting for the year, but we're hoping to source some paint, at least enough to do something up there to delineate the separate payments. So we're hoping if the weather cooperates and we can source the paint, we will get something out there this year.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear. It's not nice when they anticipated council's concerns. Okay, thank you very much. We have Councillor Chase on. We have a couple of your committees, in fact. Some information, I guess, from the last meeting of the Youth Advisory Committee.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Youth Advisory Committee held a meeting on September 29, 2020. Outlined below is an overview of some of the topics that we discussed. We're looking for new members. The committee is going to put a call out for new members, as they are allowed to have up to a maximum of 12 members and currently have several vacant seats because people move on or didn't come back to university or whatever. And we also had an inquiry from the YMCA. Members of the YMCA provided a presentation to the Youth Advisory Council of a program they are taking part in with the initiative to keep children engaged in school and to encourage them to graduate. There is a collaborative opportunity for the committee to provide a point of view from the youth for youth as to what ideas would assist this initiative being successful. We've had a very successful COVID summer. On your desk, as Councillor Buckle referred to, I brought in a potato for each one of you. Now, it's not big enough. My father was a potato farmer in Cartwright Valley, and he figured one time he grew a potato big enough to feed a family. But we give you a little taste of what we grew, so I guess that's like the fishing story. But anyway, we grew blue potatoes, and if anybody knows anything about potatoes, the blue potato is probably one of the best potatoes going. So anyway, we wanted to share that with all of you, stick it in your pot, and and enjoy it on behalf of the Youth Advisory Council. And our other projects, we had a discussion with Xavier House and are planning to make some arrangements for committee members to volunteer and engage with the residents. And that's put on hold due to COVID and all the restrictions at Xavier House. The signs of positivity will be taken down by Public Works, and the committee is hoping to place them inside public places such as schools, City Hall. We're going to put sort of like a little contest where you would like to put one. The committee is hoping to provide some volunteer assistance to the annual food drive if they go ahead or carry out something similar to get donations for the food bank. We were thinking this might be a really good time to do it around Christmas time, because the food
Absolutely.
bank is definitely going to need some donations around that time. And I guess that was it for us. We have another meeting tomorrow night just to see if we get any more new members and things like that. But it's actually a really good committee and makes you feel good when you leave it, so,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. Any questions on that?
Mr. Mayor, I'll take all the potatoes if you want to donate them so that I can get a plate of fries.
No fries on that one.
Mayor, I think, I'm just looking at the potato, I mean, even to see that the potato, it's a sign of success,
It is,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how big it is, it grew, so it's.
Oh, yeah, and
Uh,
the garden and that as well, yeah.
Yes, and the other thing, the science of positivity, do we ever think about putting on the base of, University Drive down there, like for the winter?
I don't know if they can stay out, can they?
No, I
Oh.
mean, you know, the flashing sign that all the announcements are
Oh,
on?
yes, just put pictures of them.
At the,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the Civic Center sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
That
yeah.
would be that's a really good
Yeah.
idea, actually. Yep, take some pictures and,
Yeah,
Well,
just,
yeah.
just remind people that things are good.
perfect, thank you. We also grew beans and sugar snap peas. They were pretty good too. So,
Good, good stuff. And as well, I guess the Accessibility Inclusive Community, or Committee.
yeah, this was a little bit of a downer. I guess I ended up being the only one there at the meeting with two other people. So I guess, if we can't make a meeting, maybe it would be nice if you could let
Yeah.
me know in the afternoon, because I would have easily have canceled it.
Yeah, no, I let the our legislative assistant know, because
Yeah.
I was out of town that day.
Yeah,
But,
and I wasn't, nobody let me
Oh,
know,
okay.
so I ended up, but it was good. We just did a bit of brainstorming. Obviously, we never had a quorum, so we couldn't make any decisions. And a lot of stuff at this committee has to be vetted through the city staff and things like that, like, ideas that they bring forward, so. But we did, I guess we had two people there who brought up some of the things, some of their concerns like downtown accessibility. We're hearing them all over again. The committee commented that there needs to be improved accessibility in the downtown area and recommended this matter be investigated. And some of these were already on our agenda, but we couldn't get a report back because I never had anybody there to report back on. Accessible transit. That's a big one in the city of Corner Brook. The committee has advised that an RFP was issued to conduct a transit study design. And a transit design study. Committee members expressed interest in providing input on this study as it relates to accessible busing. The committee also recommended assessing options to provide after-hour busing to benefit those with accessibility issues. And accessibility traffic crossing indicators. And this after coming up lots of times, but we are replacing a lot of our signals now with accessibility. Yeah, and lights. Committee members recommend holding, okay, so that we're doing that. So building accessibility, committee members, and we only had two of them there, recommended holding a working meeting with development and planning staff to address accessibility concerns. And the committee stressed the importance of obtaining input and perspective from those who face the barriers to accessibility. And that's probably something we might hold possibly in the new year, probably January, rather than have a meeting. We'd have probably a 2-hour working session, what you want, what I want, and how can we get it. An accessible parking committee recommended reviewing legislation regarding accessible parking. In particular, the committee recommended a review to be conducted to ensure all signs are in compliance with the regulations. And that's what we came up with that night, and our next meeting will probably be a working one. So hopefully we'll all get there.
Yeah, and I think it's good to, you mentioned the transit, and I guess that's a key part of that is coming up now and later in the meeting as well.
Yeah.
And I know that, and I'm confident, I guess, that accessible transit is one of the number one things to be considered when we're looking at a new transit design. So, yeah, absolutely, we have to keep that in the forefront so that
Definitely.
we know that that's going on.
Mr. Mayor, a little information for Councillor Chason. There's a Canadian charity called Stopgap. It's a charity that got a community ramp project in communities. What they do is they sell ramps to businesses. They can't let people in there who've got accessibility problems get in there. They bring the ramp there, put it there, take it in at certain times of day. It's movable. And it's something to look into because it's pretty easy to make. They set up a company, I think it's in Ontario, and right now they're even in St. John's now doing it for downtown. They have little ramps made. They go down there and go to the businesses. Some businesses rent it off them or they'll buy it off them and they put it there and they leave it there so people can get back and forth, which is working great right across Canada.
So like a stopgap, so it's literally a stopgap for grandfathered buildings.
That little lip,
Yes,
that little
yeah.
lip that
That
won't
little
allow me. I
lip,
think
so
we
it
just,
helps, so.
yeah, I think we discussed that at our last meeting, previous meeting before this one, Director Comby, yeah,
Okay.
Director,
I'd
city
bring it
manager,
up.
sorry.
You get demoted.
Yeah,
already.
got demoted just like that.
No, thank you for that, Councillor, Councillor Buckle. That's, again, we do have to continue to strive to, I guess, make our community more accessible, for sure.
Oh, definitely,
Right?
yeah, because we made 2 steps forward and 10 backwards, so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, we do have a couple of, we have a few RFDs here some business we have to deal with. One is the follow-up, I guess. We awarded our owner's advisor our proposal, or tender last week, or last meeting, and now I guess we need to approve an agreement for the PCA. So, Mr. Charter, do you want to speak to this one, or no? Who do we have here? We have the esteemed councillor.
Yeah, no,
speak to
thank you,
this.
Mr. Mayor. I guess the question was, and maybe you answered it, we weren't regurgitating this for a second time, right?
No.
Okay, good. So therefore, Mr. Mayor, the issue at hand is council's approval is required to execute the prime consultant agreement, PCA, for the owner's advisor services as it relates to the development of the Cornbrook Recreation Centre project. Council approved the award of the contract for the owner's advisor services for the project noted above to SNC Lavalin and DSRA Architecture on October 5th of 2020. The OA team was directed to prepare a PCA for council approval and further execution. The staff recommended, Mr. Mayor, that they reviewed PCA and recommended that council approve the PCA submitted SNC Lavalin and DSRA Architects for the cost of $524,524.78. It is recommended the following resolution be considered by City Council. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, be resolved that the Council of the City of Cornbrook approve the PCA for the owner's advisor services related to the development of the Cornbrook Regional Recreation Centre with SNC Lavalin and DSRA Architects for the estimated costs of $524,524.78, HST included. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Would someone like to second that motion? Okay, Councillor Buckle. Any questions on this item? This is, again, the necessary follow-up to our to the bid process. Any other questions? No? Pretty straightforward. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Charters.
As a further update, we do have our kickoff meeting yesterday, so once this is signed, we can have that kickoff meeting with the procurement group, and we can get rolling on the project.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Any no questions? Okay, we'll take it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Excellent. Okay, Councillor Buckle, transit study.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the City of Cornbrook issued a request for proposals for consulting services related to the transit study and system design project. 5 proposals were submitted to the city on October the 7th this year. The proposals were reviewed by staff and committee in order to make a recommendation to council. The committee has reviewed. What's going on with that today? Reviewed
It's a long meeting.
and evaluated the proposals based on the criteria set out in the RFP document and has come to a consensus that the project should be awarded to Dillon Consulting for the cost of $40,215.50. As such, it is recommended that the following resolution be considered by council. Be resolved that the council of the City of Cornbrook award the consulting service contract for the transit study and system design project to Dillon Consulting for the estimated cost of $40,215.50, HST included. I so move.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, it's a mouthful. Okay, any questions on this one?
Oh, go
One
ahead.
question. When we discussed this earlier, a month or two ago, we had some discussion around whether the submission of the actual report would be early January or the end of January, I believe, in 2021. Did we leave that open-ended in the RFP, or was it closed for a specific deadline for the report to be submitted back to council?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we did put in by the end of January. There is a little flexibility in there, but that was stipulated in the RFP, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions there? Yes?
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, Mr. Mayor, Dillon Consulting, can we get a little update on who they are and
Yeah.
so on?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, sure. They have an office in St. John's. They have one local representative on the team that will be doing most of the public engagement, including an accessibility committee. I've worked with the transit expert. He's actually based out of Toronto area, I believe. They're excellent. I have full confidence that we'll be able to do a really excellent job with this project.
That's good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And I think the key to this whole thing, I think that all of council was really concerned with was not another transit study, but the second part, and system design.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, yes.
Mr. Mayor, there were 5 proposals submitted. Can we have an overview of how we arrived at Dillon? What
Yeah.
was the process? How did we eliminate 4 and arrive at 1?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Through you, Mr. Mayor. So essentially what we do is we lay out the criteria in the RFP that each proponent will be scored on. We had a group of, I believe, 4 staff from different divisions to score. So it was scored on a technical basis, that once that's
What was the process? How did we eliminate 4 and arrive at 1?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Through you, Mr. Mayor. So essentially what we do is we lay out the criteria in the RFP that each proponent will be scored on. We had a group of, I believe, 4 staff from different divisions to score. So it was scored on a technical basis, that once that's scored, you had to reach a minimum of 60% of those 75 points. That ranged everything from project experience, their team experience, their work plan, their schedule. If they didn't meet their schedule, they lost points. If we didn't talk about accessibility, they lost points. And then once we got those scores, we opened up actually we're doing it digitally now, which is new for us. So we opened up the financial proposals, and then according to the lowest price you scored, and you add those up. And that's how we came to the Dillon Consulting. I would add that I have never seen 5 proposals that were so excellent. The determining factor was price in the end, but it was very, very close, and I had a lot of confidence that any one of the group on this project.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. Any other questions? Okay, well, let's vote on this. All those in favor? Say aye. And all those opposed? And there you have it. So good. This is a long overdue one, I think. Let's get this show going. Okay, Deputy Mayor, we have a change order for the Jubilee Field Clubhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The issue to install paved walkway to Jubilee Place, upgrade existing walkway to parking lot and add accessible parking. Provide crushed stone and sod around the building at Jubilee Place entrance. Jubilee Field baseball building is complete. Site works are required around the building and access. The recommendation, approve the contract change order number 7 between the owner, City of Corner Brook, and contractor Brook Construction for the Jubilee Field baseball building for an increase in contract for $61,221.40, HST included. That said, Mr. Mayor, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook approve the contract change order number 7 between the owner, City of Corner Brook, and contractor Brook Construction for the Jubilee Field baseball building for an increase in contract for $61,221.40, HST included. I so move.
Okay, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Buckle. Okay, questions on this item?
Yeah, one question, Mr. Mayor. So this work that's now being complete, or that we're going to ask for approval to complete, so this work was not a part of the initial contract? Is it something that is an add-on, or was it a part of the initial contract and it's now coming in at an extra cost?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, what happens is you have the base contract, which is construction of the building and all of those kind of issues, and then we have to set aside some schedules or allowances to undertake things like landscaping. We ended up having about $80,000 left over in those allowances,
Right.
so this is where we're going to take this.
Okay, so this is funding that, I guess this is accounted for when we originally funded the project.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay,
It's not new money.
that's right, yeah.
You don't like it.
Okay, any other questions on that one? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Contraminded? Carried. Excellent. And last but not least, we have Mr. Cumby, the city manager's report. We have some delegation of authority items, or one item, I guess, well, 2 items, but if you would, please tell us what you've got there.
What we have here is the first one is for additional engineering services for phase 1 repairs of concrete sills at Corner Brook City Hall. And that is, as we know, we're having some trouble with concrete sills, which are causing a safety issue primarily. This is our main concern. And this is some engineering services that are associated with that. That was the first one. And the second one is site visits for the engineer Kate McLean at 949, and again, it is the amendment number 3, and it is for Jubilee Field.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on these items? And for the general public, I guess, just to let you know, this is for certain types of change orders and on capital projects, we do have limits set so that the city manager can approve them and report back to council, and it's just to keep everything moving. Yes, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, the concrete sill at City Hall, was that identified in the original deficiency list when we signed off with the company? And as I recall, we received X amount of dollars for anything that was deficient?
Mr. Park?
Yeah, no, that wasn't identified. This has come up recently, and I guess most recently this summer when one of the sills actually fell off. So we've been, that's why you'll see some barricades around the building in certain spots to make sure that no one's walking under those spots where those sills are in place.
And I guess, follow-up question if I can, Mr. Mayor. Have we now gone back and inspected all of those sills?
Yes. There was the full inspection done of every one of those sills around this building with a report that was completed and identified areas for improvement and what needed to be done to remediate it.
And that's the nature of that specific item, right?
Yeah. And the funds we had for deficiencies, I assume, has all been expended? That we had recuperated?
I would imagine, yeah.
Okay.
Fall under our maintenance, yeah.
One of the things, Mr. Mayor, will we be repairing them before the winter takes place, or removing the ones that maybe are deficient and replacing them in the spring?
Yeah, so I guess the plan is to do the ones that are by the loading bay and the entrance down there. That was the priority, and then the other ones will be fixed next year.
Okay.
Okay, questions?
I just had a quick
Yes.
question on amendment number 3, site visit coverage for Kate McLean.
Yeah.
Who is Kate McLean? Is it
Yes.
just somebody who works for us or works
I guess for the consultant, Lat 49, I'm assuming? Yeah, so this is the engineer or the architect on the build? That's right?
It is.
Okay.
Is this normal for us to pay for flight, car, and parking meals? Is it?
This is something that was over and above this time, and usually that would be included in the price, but this was not included in the price at this time. But so we had to get it back and move it into an extra one, and that would have to be, because we were a little bit late doing that, so this would have been an extra consulting fee, an extra fee that we would charge them, or they would charge to us.
So obviously, in a contract like that, the consultant would anticipate and sort of put in their proposal a certain number of site visits required by certain personnel. And in this case, for whatever reason, I don't know if we know the specifics, do we? But the consultant had to make an additional trip here. Sounds like.
Doesn't this go?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Question in relation to the CAN, Mr. Mayor. So that is only for travel-related coverage. What about the consultant's fee? Where was that charged off?
And Mr. Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, the consultant fee would have been added back to the contract. It's
Yeah.
one of those, things that we see.
So we would be reimbursed for it. So reading, and I guess the reason I raise it is one offsets
We
the
would
other.
have paid it, but we would have charged the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the nature of the change sometimes, but yeah.
We'll probably make a bit of money because the consultant fee is going to be higher than $1,700 or $1,100, I would think.
Absolutely. Okay, any other questions there? If not, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Thank you all very much, and thank you for bearing with us. Again, it's a little longer, but very informative meeting. Thank you all very much, and we'll, I think, see you in a couple weeks in a public meeting. So, meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
I took this picture of my wife when she was near death, waiting for a liver transplant.